For tonight's matchup between the Steelers and the Titans, I have 6 overall favorite plays, but specifically my overall favorite play is going to be George Pickens over 52.5 receiving yards. Find out why in this video. If you guys are brand new to this channel, welcome. I preach and talk about plus EV betting every single day throughout all my daily videos. If you guys don't know what plus EV betting is, it just simply means profitable sports betting. We're one of few people on YouTube that preach and talk about profitable sports betting and how to encourage responsible gambling. So we're going to be going over a specific strategy in this video called the correlation strategy. The correlation strategy revolves around fixed payout platforms like PrizePicks, Underdog, Parlay Play, and taking advantage of those fixed payout platforms by positively correlating single game parlays, the same players within the same game who positively affect the outcome of other players. So let's walk through this, right? First, I want to prove to you guys that payouts never change on PrizePicks, meaning that if whatever combos I put together, whatever the combo is between different sports, even if they're in the same sport, different games, doesn't matter, same games, doesn't matter, the payouts are never going to be changed from their fixed payout. So a 3-man, regardless of the type of combos that you put in there, will always pay out 5x, meaning you put in $100 here and you always are getting back $500, right? Which equates to plus 400 odds, parlay odds, right? And then if you put in another player here, this power play payout will never change based on going 4 of 4. This will always get 10x, meaning that you put in $100, you always get $1,000 back. And this is advantageous for our strategy. I'm going to explain why a little bit later. But first, we must uncover the odds per leg here that you're getting comparing to traditional sports books. And the reason why we're doing this is because what we can do is compare single game parlay odds on something like a dynamic sportsbook like FanDuel and DraftKings, compare those odds directly over to PrizePicks. And if those odds are significantly better, meaning I'm getting more bang for my buck in a parlay on PrizePicks by correlating plays together, then that means I am a plus EV bettor. I'm getting a positive expected value by combining all these players on PrizePicks, Underdog, Parlay Play, comparing over to the traditional sports books, because traditional sports books make a lot of money off their sports bettors. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare 1-to-1 here, compare the parlay odds on PrizePicks directly over the FanDuel and DraftKings. What I have here in front of me is a Google sheet that goes over the break-even percentage for 6-man flex slips here on PrizePicks, basically showing you the break-even percentage per leg, and then also showing you the overall odds per leg. Again, keep in mind, this is the fair odds, so the actual true percent odds per individual leg for this to break even. So you guys have to hit over a 54.21% hit rate on each individual leg to break even. And what this equates to is a minus 118 fair odds per leg. If you take these minus 118 fair odds and put them into a 6-man parlay on the traditional sports books, you're getting about plus 3,850 odds, which means you're getting a 6 flex PrizePicks while taking into consideration all the insurance payouts, basically the net profit, the EV per individual leg. You're getting a plus 3,850 fair odds percentage on a 6 flex slip on PrizePicks. So anything that shows a single game parlay in terms of odds less than 3,850 on FanDuel or DraftKings is going to be plus EV. If we were to take that and put it over on PrizePicks, take that identical type of parlay, and we want those odds to be overall better on PrizePicks because we're getting more bang for our buck if we take a single game parlay and play it on PrizePicks, right? So I just wanted to show you guys that minus 118 parlay odds, putting this into a 6-man flex slip on PrizePicks, this is my break-even percentage. So if I take those break-even odds of minus 118.4 and put them into a 6-man parlay, I'm getting this at plus 3839. We're rounding up to plus 3850. And if those odds are better on DraftKings and FanDuel by taking the exact same kind of combinations, the exact same single game parlay players that I'm putting into the PrizePicks slip, then this is going to be a plus EV slip. I will remain profitable in the long term by just simply comparing odds. So that's the mindset to have, is simply by taking the best overall player prop odds, combining them together into a correlated slip for tonight, for Thursday Night Football, finding those best plus EV values and then seeing what the best correlated combos are that are going to keep us profitable in the long run by simply comparing odds over to single game parlay odds across all sports books, right? And that's where the DGFantasy correlation tool comes into perspective. It shows you the highest correlated combos, the best correlation combos that you can possibly get per individual leg by simply scanning the market every single minute to ensure that you get the most profitable slip. And what we're going to do here is use this AI technology in this video and scroll down to what the recommended slip is going to be for tonight's matchup between the Steelers and the Titans. And as you guys can see, this is going to be the exact slip that's being recommended. But let's go ahead and walk through this and then compare odds over the single game parlay odds on FanDuel and DraftKings. Kenny Pickett over 217.5 is combined with George Pickens over 52.5 receiving yards, which was my favorite play. And let's just walk through this and show you guys that the payouts are simply just not being altered based on this correlation combo. And I know you can't enter a two-man power with just two players on the same team. But as you guys can see here, the payout is not altered based on the combination of players that I'm putting together here for the specific slip. However, PrizePicks has altered their payouts on all unders. So as you can see here, the payout does shift, which explains why I'm going to be recommending all overs here for the specific slip, just finding the best overall softest lines. So Kenny Pickett, George Pickens are obviously correlated with one another. This is pretty straightforward, right? The better that Kenny Pickett does, the more yards that he throws for, the better that George Pickens is going to be able to perform. At least the likelihood both increases on both these players. If George Pickens does well, then the likelihood that Kenny Pickett is also going to do well and throw for more yards. So overall, not saying that these players are both going to hit the over, but the likelihood does increase by simply putting these two players together. And also noteworthy, the payout never change. It never shifts unless you hit both unders, right? So we're going to be recommending both overs here by organically increasing those percent odds to hit on both these players. Deontay Johnson obviously is also very heavily correlated with Kenny Pickett over passing yards. So by putting in both of these players, you can see here that the payouts are still not shifting. Taking two of Kenny Pickett's favorite wide receivers over his passing yards, we're now increasing the organic percent odds to hit on all three of these players. Now, a lot of people talk about this in the comment section. The likelihood that all these players are going to go over decreases. Well, not according to the sports books. By positively correlating all these players, they're actually decreasing the overall odds on your parlay. I'm going to show you guys a little bit later in this video. So that's just simply not true. Hitting the over of Kenny Pickett's passing yards means that the probability that both of these receivers are also going to go over. So get rid of that mindset. That might be true in something like NBA. You can't simply hit all overs on players unless they go to like triple overtime. So anyway, moving on to the next correlated, the next best correlated player prop is going to be from actually a punter. So Presley Harvin, we're going to be taking the under on punts here because let's talk this through, right? The better that Kenny Pickett does, the more yards that he throws for, the more often they're going to be in the red zone. At least the likelihood that increases, right? Which also means that the less opportunities Presley Harvin is going to have to punt the ball. So very positively correlated. This is actually so positively correlated that they don't even offer player punts on sports books. So if they did offer this on the sports books, they probably wouldn't allow you to put punting props within the same combination of players, which is freaking insane that PrizePicks allows you to do this. So hitting the under on punts is positively correlated with Pickens over, Pickett over, and Deontay Johnson over. All right, so going back, we're now shifting to the other side. Will Levis over 201 passing yards. This is also pretty straightforward, but the more passing yards that Will Levis throws for, the likelihood that Kenny Pickett's also going to throw for more receiving yards. If it's a close competitive matchup and they're airing the ball out, then everybody is positively correlated within the slip. And then going back to the slip recommended on the tool is going to be Ryan Stonehouse under 4.5 punts. And I just talked about why punter props are positively correlated on the unders with overpassing and receiving yards. So this is the best slip as of right now, given the highest correlated combos by observing the market. And let's actually take this one step further and talk about why this tool did recommend this exact player prop combination. So keep in mind that the correlation tool is always scanning through the market, meaning that they're choosing individual player props with the highest correlation combos together, and then finding those individual plus EV edges and prioritizing those edges while also factoring in the highest correlated combos. So as you can see here, George Pickens on PrizePicks set to 52.5. And by the way, I'm looking at the DGFantasy core product. This is the optimizer where it just simply compares all the sportsbooks lines directly back to the PrizePicks projections and shows you where the greatest edge is. Anyway, the correlation tool then scans the market. And as you guys can see here, George Pickens is slightly favoring the over. Very heavy juice on the over according to some of these sports books like Pinnacle. It looks like he set a yard higher on FanDuel, near even line here on DraftKings, and then also here on Hot Streak 5 yards higher. So anyway, slightly favoring the over here on Pickens, which is why we are now including him in the slip. Our software is scanning the market at all times and recommending the most plus EV individual odds here on these different legs, and then also taking into consideration the highest correlated combo. So George Pickens over 52.5 receiving yards. That's why it's starting out the slip with this slight edge on top of all the correlation values. Now let's compare the odds directly over to the traditional sports books and see if we have an edge that's greater than plus 38.50. If it's less than, that means we have a long-term profitable edge here by simply comparing these parlay odds directly to the dynamic sportsbooks odds. So as mentioned earlier in this video, the punter props aren't even being recommended on single game parlays on FanDuel because the edge is so great. The positive correlation for under punter props is just so crazy that FanDuel just doesn't even offer the prop here to allow you to put into single game parlays. So as you can see here, what I did is I replaced the punters with over receiving yards, Jalen Warren and DeAndre Hopkins. And I kept those props at an even line to really directly compare over the PrizePicks. I'm literally getting this single game parlay, these odds at plus 1900. Compared plus 1900 over the plus 38.50 that we would get on PrizePicks while factoring in all the insurance and stuff. As you guys can see, also Deontay Johnson just got bumped. 1 yard's not really going to matter too much, so I would go ahead and take this. But regardless, plus 38.50 here on PrizePicks, comparing that back to the single game parlay odds of plus 1900 on FanDuel. I hope you guys can see the edge that you simply get by just placing this exact parlay on PrizePicks by comparing the odds directly back to FanDuel. Think about it. You have to hit every single leg to even get a payout of plus 1900. If I put in $100, I get back $1,900. That's if I hit every single leg. I'm getting this at plus 38.50 odds. So if I hit 100, if I hit 6 out of 6, I'm getting $2,500 back, which is just straight up better than FanDuel. And then I get those insurance too. If I get 5 out of 6, I'm still hitting 2x, which means I get $200. And then if I go 4 out of 6, I'm still getting 0.4x back. Freaking insane when you compare the odds 1-to-1. And this exact slip was found using the DGF correlation tool. So just to show you how much of an edge there is just by simply correlating single game parlays on PrizePicks, if I were to take every single slip recommended on this tool dating back to August 18th, I would be up over 423 units, meaning if I was a $100 sports bettor, I'd be up $42,000. I had to do some quick math there. I'd be up over $42,000, which is freaking insane. So again, if you guys want to sign up for this tool, it recommends the entire slip per game, showing you the most profitable combo by just simply playing this on Underdog, PrizePicks. As you can see here, we have Boom Fantasy. We have all kinds of different fixed payout platforms that we show on this tool. And now for a bonus slip, what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide you guys an Underdog Fantasy slip. This one looks to be better ROI. So I'm interested to see how correlated the slip is. By the way, on the far right, we show a correlation score. This is just out of 100. The higher the number, the more correlated the slip is. This goes hand in hand with the profit margin. So just goes to show you here, it looks like a pretty identical slip, but it looks like we have some softer lines here on Treylon Burks and also DeAndre Hopkins. So we're recommending overs here on Underdog. We're going to go ahead and put in the slip just to show you guys that, again, positive correlation works for Underdog as well. And as you can see here, if I put in $100, I get $2,000 back. So this is plus 1,900 odds that you would be getting on Underdog. Let's go ahead and compare this directly back to a single game parlay on FanDuel. I'll just walk through it here. We have Pickens over, we'll remove that. I believe Deontay Johnson was the one player. Yeah, Deontay Johnson was recommended over there. And then we put in Treylon Burks and DeAndre Hopkins. So also DeAndre Hopkins is 2 yards more soft here on Underdog, which is, again, why they're recommending it here on Underdog. So if we compare back to the single game parlay odds, we're literally getting this at plus 969, comparing back to Underdog, where we would be getting plus $1,900, a complete difference in terms of odds, guys. Hopefully this all makes sense. This was found, again, using the DGFantasy correlation tool. And if you guys haven't downloaded Underdog, make sure to do so using code DGF. They're offering right now a 100% match up to $500, meaning that you get a free $500 if you deposit on that platform using our code DGF. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this content. If you did, please do hit that subscription button, notification bell, and of course, smash that like button for all of our future NFL content. With all that being said, have a great rest of your day, and let's cash.